Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Happy New Year to all of you guys out there. This is actually my first video that I have filmed in 2021. That is exciting. Now, I posted other videos this year so far, but those videos are from last month when I was on vacation for Christmas, and so I have a story time for you guys. So last year, my mom and I went home to Jamaica for the holidays to visit family and friends that are still living on the island. Last year, Kwan joined us for the very first time, which was really cool because his birthday's in December, and I knew that I was going to show him a good time for his birthday in Jamaica, and of course I wanted to show off my island. I was determined to show him a good time. I made sure that I had the lineup for all the dancehall parties, the soca parties, just about everything you can imagine. I made sure that I had everything written down and I knew the dates and the times that these events were taking place. One of those affairs was dubbed Rum For Christmas, I think by Bacchanal. And I'm pretty sure it was Bacchanal, and yeah, so it's called Rum For Christmas, and it was actually on his birthday, which is December 28th. So this event took place in Kingston, Jamaica, in Hope Gardens, which is like a beautiful place, by the way. The cost of the tickets for this event was $9,500 per ticket, which was about like $80 US or so, and for that price you honestly get your money's worth and more, because the music was off the chain, the DJs were amazing. It was definitely worth the money. And they had the most amazing food and drinks and everything. Like top shelf liquor of any kind, literally. There was ackee and saltfish, there was jerk chicken, there was stewed chicken, breadfruit, garlic rolls, pasta, fruit cups, pastries, frappuccinos, cappuccinos, everything, and it was all unlimited. Now, let's go back to before we actually attended the event. Finding the tickets was a huge issue. Now, I didn't know it was going to be this much of a problem, but it turned out to be a whole affair in itself. We tried so many different outlets like Amar's in Sovereign, Texaco gas station off Jacks Hill. I don't know, like we went to so many different places because I knew that I really wanted to go to this because I knew it was going to be a good event and it was on Kwan's birthday. Do what you got to do, right? So we finally found tickets. I made sure to purchase them instantly. I woke up the morning of the event. I was so excited, and let's fast forward a little bit. So we're actually leaving. We're already dressed, smell good, everything. We did not eat because I wanted to make sure that my belly was like empty so I could devour all of the food. So we got to the event, ate, drank, laughed, danced, like it was a vibe. Everything was just perfect. I even saw one of my favorite Jamaican YouTubers. Shout out to Petite Sue. And everything was good until time came for us to leave. Organizers started ushering everyone out about 2 p.m., which is when it was supposed to end anyway. And so I whipped out my phone, ready to call my cousin to come pick us up, and no signal. Like, my cousin knew the time that the event was to end, and so I was hoping that she was already there. We did have an arrangement where I was to call her to the time when I was to leave, and then that's how she would know to make her way over to Hope Gardens to come pick us up. Obviously, she didn't get a phone call, reception was bad, and so we were just there. Now, as soon as we walked out of the gates, we saw a lot of different buses that were transporting people to various parking lots, and Kwan and I were just standing there, like looking around like, okay, so what now? And so we were like, all right, you know what, to kind of like buy time, let's jump on one of the buses and just drive around Hope Gardens, and let's get off at a random parking lot. And so that's exactly what we did. We jumped onto a bus and just started driving everyone around. So it was while we were on that bus that I decided to ask someone to borrow their phone. They did let me borrow their phone, so I took out my phone ready to dial the number, and it died. It died on me, and I did not know my cousin's phone number. And so we actually drove around to the very last stop, and the bus driver was telling everyone at the last stop and everybody have to come off of my bus. So I turned to Quan and I was like, all right, so what the hell do we do now? So as soon as I stepped off of the bus, I began hearing a lot of shouting. Like a very heated argument was taking place, and I started seeing rocks, like big rocks almost the size of boulders. I may be exaggerating, but there were some really, really big rocks being thrown across the parking lot. Like, it wasn't even an argument, it was a fight. It was a beating, like somebody was definitely getting a beating. Like, it was insane. I did not know what to do. I'm like, all right, you know, should I look? Should I not look? Can I stare? But I'm very, very nosy, so I wanted to know what was going on. There was an area to the left. It was full of grass, and like there was a chain link fence. There was a part of the fence that was like cut down very, very low, but in order to get over it, we still had to kind of like climb up a few of the steps. I had on a very, very tight and very short bodycon dress, so I couldn't go climbing and jumping fences. Quan climbed the fence and then reached over to pick me up, to pull me over the fence so we both could have a good view of what was going on. He pulled me up over the fence, and I was so caught up with paying attention to someone else's business that I didn't even realize what was going on with me. As soon as he lifted me up and I stood there, I started noticing like blood dripping down my leg. So I looked and I saw that my thigh had been sliced all the way up by the chain link fence. And it was then when I realized that I'd gotten cut, that I'd gotten sliced open basically, that I started feeling the pain. I didn't know what to do. Remember guys, I had no phone. We were basically stranded in the middle of Hope Gardens. I didn't know my cousin's phone number. A very like bad fight going on in the corner. I was here bleeding to death basically, and we were just there. There was a guy that was basically being dragged outside of a car. Like, I don't know what had happened or who did what, but something certainly went down that day. Eventually they cleared out and it was just us. We were just left standing there. There is a zoo in Hope Garden, so I was like, all right, let's just go walk over to the zoo. I'm sure other people will be there. We'll just be out here in the middle of a parking lot by ourselves. So we walked over to one of the ladies and I asked her how much it costed for admission. She said $1,500 per person. Neither me nor Quan had $3,000 to pay for admission to the zoo. I asked her if she had a phone charger and she said she did. So while my phone was on the charger, Quan and I decided to just sit on some benches that were in the front. So we sat there, talked, just chilled a little bit, and then eventually one of the workers came up to us and was like, hey, you can't sit here. If you're not paying customers, you can't be here on the zoo grounds. Like, you can't be here. Okay, so the party's over. It's been over for like an hour now, and we have just been waiting at the zoo. Right now we're at Hope Zoo. So we got up and we made our way to some other benches that were in like a wooded area kind of, but it was still, I think it was still on, you know, the zoo grounds, but we were just away from the front entrance, like the main entrance. And as soon as we sat down, the skies opened up and the rain just came down. It poured. So I was there drenched. We were drenched. Our clothes were soaking wet. Hair was wet. I was just so done. Eventually, my phone got enough juice for me to call my cousin. It'll be a few hours before she was able to get to us to come pick us up. And I was like, oh my God, this just can't get any worse. So we just sat there. So we were eventually picked up and we jumped into the car. And the very first thing that we did was got some food. The food was good, by the way, from what I can remember. The food was good. But we went home after that and just chilled. We cooled out and I got, you know, my thoughts back together and just relaxed. The day ended nicely. We had a really good birthday dinner for Quan at a really nice restaurant. And so overall, you know, it was a good day-ish. I can never forget Rum for Christmas, December 28th, 2019. And even to this day, I have a scar running all the way up my thigh from that chain link fence in Hope Gardens. Good times. But on that note, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that post notification bell. And I'll surely see you guys in my next video.